going to be a fast game. It is going to be a physical game. And these two, they know each other. Obviously, same conference, but they're all those passings, what happened this year, none of it matters here today. Winner take all.
There's Mark Johnson behind the bench, as always, for Wisconsin in his 20th year as head coach. He has won this championship 6 times. Her counterpart, Nadine Muzerall, who we just talked about it. And everything that she has built in Columbus.
She's built a gritty team. It's amazing just the culture that she's instilled in this program from top to bottom. Relentless. She says, doesn't matter that we're the defending champs. We're going to go out there. We're going to play like we're the underdogs.
Ohio State, the 1 seed in this national tournament, in white sweaters with black trim and cardinal and white for the Wisconsin Badgers. And we are underway from Duluth. All WCHA final again, 7th time. Winning faceoffs. That's what Ohio State does. They control the puck right out of the gate. Puck thrown right out in front of Tammy Kronish, the goaltender for Wisconsin. Holding the zone here and putting on early pressure, Ohio State. There's Sophie Jakes, and hopped her stick. It's going to come all the way back down to the Wisconsin end. And now here is Maddie Wheeler for Wisconsin playing it in deep. Turned it over to Rosenthal. Maddie Rosenthal, points in 4 of the last 5 games for Ohio State. It's such a veteran group. They blitzed Northeastern too on Friday, but this is a faster Wisconsin team, AJ. Do you expect the offensive zone time that Ohio State had in that first game?
No, I don't. And, I think that's what they're going to want to do. They are known as a second period team. They want to come out hard, though, and they did against Northeastern. And they want to do the same thing here. This first 5 to 7 minutes are critical for both these teams, but for Ohio State to try to put that pressure on. The offensive zone time for them against Northeastern was just enormously high.
And they held the Huskies without a shot on goal for the first 9 minutes. There's Tammy Kronish, the tall goaltender from New York City. 37 saves to beat Minnesota for her 20th win of the year. And Amanda Thiele on the other side led the Buckeyes to the national title last year. Let's see if she can do it again. She stopped 15 shots against Northeastern, her 4th shutout of the season. Big shot from Jakes, knocked down by Britta Curl. Jakes gathers it up, moves to the front of the net, tries to get a backhand on, and it goes wide of the cage. Jakes had 10 shots on goal on Friday. There's a drive from the captain, and Emma Malte just missed.
Jakes is never afraid to shoot it. What a good pickup there out of the air by KK Harvey, showing her athleticism.
KK Harvey, of course, the overtime game winner on Friday to beat Minnesota, but she's a good defensive player as well.
She is all around, and she is just, the more that game went on, the more impressed I was with just her poise, her composure, her speed, and like you said, her defensive ability, and that's where she creates offense.
She's the WCHA Rookie of the Year. Here's Gardner now, tried to feed the front for McKenna Webster, the former Badger. It's got to be an interesting feeling for her today playing against her former team. And now here is Webster, the Frozen Four MVP from 2 years ago for Wisconsin. Gets it ahead for Rosenthal, who carries it in deep behind the net. From the corner, she surveys and wheels it back to Webster. McKenna Webster on a backhand to the front, and Bregman couldn't get it. Knocked away by Enright.
You can see that Wisconsin, and Muzerall told this to us, she said, Wisconsin doesn't like to play defense. Now show me a team that does. They just chip pucks into space and go chase them. Now
the captain, O'Brien, going right to the net. Kept out of there by Thiele. O'Brien still active at the side of the cage. Here's O'Brien again, sidesteps a defender and sent it just wide of the net. Boy, Casey O'Brien, leader in points for Wisconsin. She has had some big goals in the recent weeks.
AJ, to your point about Wisconsin defense, no team really wants to play defense, but I think what Nadine's saying is she wants to really exercise the freshman youngness of the D-core of the Wisconsin Badgers because they're so young back there.
Here's Bernard at the point. On a backhand, goes just wide for Emma Malte. And of course, she missed last year's title run. She was looking from behind the glass last year when Ohio State won the championship. She's fired up to be out in this title game.
And she's the only holdover from the 2018 team, the first Ohio State team to make an NCAA appearance, and she is the only player still left from that team, and she holds on to that excitement, that youthful exuberance that they had back then now, and she tries to instill that in her teammates now.
Here's the All-American Jen Gardner now, stepping in over the line for Ohio State. Comfer on the back check, forced a turnover. This is going to slide back in on Thiele as Ohio State will regroup. It's 4 minutes into our first period here in the national title game. At center, Sims for Wisconsin. Had it taken off her stick by Bernard. This is going to slide through the neutral zone. Harvey will chase it down for the Badgers, the U.S. Olympian last year.
Lacey Eden just got away with one. She made it subtle, but a little interference call.
We haven't seen a lot of penalties so far in this women's Frozen Four. Eden trying to use the defender as a screen, and Bizal is hobbled. Bizal took that on the leg.
Oh, those sting.
She is stammering. Anderson Bizal, a couple of goals and an assist against Wisconsin in their meeting on February 19th. They can't afford to lose her. Looks like she's going to be able to skate it off.
Yeah, a lot of times those are just stingers. They just take a second. If you can't get off the ice, you skate it off and hope that you get a chance to breathe through it.
Here's Buglioni at center for Ohio State. Jenna Buglioni, top line winger for the Buckeyes. Off into the corner. Battle there. And this is going to come all the way down. Thiele is going to play it from her net.
Thiele was not very busy against Northeastern, and she only had 15 saves, 4th shutout of the season for her. But, you know, arguably would get to a championship game, she'll be more tested. Here's
a turnover. Layla Edwards leaves it back for O'Brien. A shot that goes wide of the left post. A careless turnover for Ohio State. They're able to dodge a bullet. No shots on goal for the Buckeyes. They had 53 against Northeastern.
Great pass in the corner all the way out.
Gardner feeds the point. Held in. Peschel trying to get it past Layla Edwards, but she knocks it down. Loose in the corner. McKenna Webster comes in to pick it up for the Buckeyes. She'll swing it back in for Rosenthal. Rosenthal around Comfort to the net, and that went right out in front of Cronish.
Something the Ohio State squad is so lethal at is hopping into those center areas, the high slot plays with speed and getting the puck there. Look forward to that as the game progresses.
This is Emma Peschel, had a big goal last week against Quinnipiac in the regional. Wisconsin's able to lug it out with Edwards, but then she's checked off the puck by Hosworth. Here's Peschel now. Going to the front is Matthews, but Cronish is going to hold on. No rebound with 13:29 to go here in the opening period.
And Ohio State wants to put the pressure on offensively, but defensively they've got to be more careful with the puck. High in their zone, turnover, chance for Wisconsin, still no score.
Well, for the 3rd straight year, every NCAA Women's Championship game is on the networks of ESPN. For more information, go to ncaa.com. Your home for all 90 NCAA championships. Just getting started here in Duluth, the Women's National Championship game. E.J. Malesko, Hillary Knight. I'm Clay Matvick. Shots even at 1 apiece. It's more of a defensive game here early on.
Well, and actually both our semifinals had one team lean very heavily in the first half of the first period. It was Ohio State leaning on Northeastern and never really relinquishing that pressure. But in the second semifinal, it started with Minnesota. Their first period, the ice was tilted in their favor. Wisconsin pushed back heavily in the second period. It was much more wide open in the third, and obviously it took overtime for KK Harvey to find the eventual game winner. But it is interesting right now, a little bit more neutral zone time, and Nadine Muzzerall did tell us, she said neutral zone, they're very aggressive. So we've got to get through it quickly, and we've got to get in the offensive zone and put pressure on.
Played back out to center here. 13:20 to go, first period. Ohio State comes back in.
You can see Ohio State doesn't go back in a slow regroup. They get the puck just outside the blue line, and they turn on a dime to head back in the offensive zone.
A question I want to ask you, Hillary, the fatigue factor. Wisconsin played almost 4 periods against Minnesota Friday. Are you noticing lazy legs at all?
No, not noticing any lazy legs. In fact, the game looks extremely fast, which is, you know, you have to come out fast for a big game. But I think once it settles in a bit, maybe the nerves relax, we'll see what these minds are made of.
Even if they had some heavy legs, I'm not sure we could call them lazy, Clay. Come on, just maybe stuck in the mud legs.
Fair enough.
You know, talking to Nadine Muzzerall, though, she's like, go to 5 overtimes. This is great. Sitting here watching those two teams beat on each other. She didn't get her wish, but she got one.
At some point, you have to think it's going to wear, right? Mentally or physically. A lot of periods, you play an extra period coming down the stretch.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I know that when you sit there, it wasn't that late a game, but still, you got to go back. You got to replenish your calories, get some rest, you know, do your post-game, get to bed, and see what you can come up with 2 days later.
Here are the Buckeyes with Hosworth from the circle. And a good pass from Matthews, trying to create. Top of the circle now. That one's ramped up off the stick. Way over the top of the net. As Cronish watches from between the pipes for Wisconsin. She split time with Jane Gervais early in the year, but she has been locking down the net for Wisconsin down the home stretch. As Sims is going to gather it up for the Badgers and play it out to center.
Oh, that was a good step there by Emma Peschel. She didn't quite get it, but good read.
Lamontia going around a defender. Bregman couldn't stand her up, and Lamontia with an early bid. She was a little quiet on Friday. Of course, she's won 2 national championships with Wisconsin. One of the veterans for Mark Johnson. Badgers get it to the line. Harvey couldn't hold it in for Wisconsin. Now the Badgers attack again, and that shot is gloved by Amanda Thiele with 11:10 to go.
Well, 3 shots so far for University of Wisconsin. Here's one of them, Lamontia. Little toe drag come around, and that's a great move because she's able to do it, and then she's going for that blocker side. And a good save, good heads-up play by Thiele. We said she wasn't very busy on Friday, but looking sharp in that situation. But Lamontia, she's paired with Shayla Edwards on the top pairing. You can look at her numbers right there, but the two of them are a really good shutdown pair. They do create offense from the back end, but they don't need to because they do have so much offense up front.
You could say for both of these teams, they have an embarrassment of riches. So much offense. Knocked down in front.
But you see that in hockey across the way, men's, women's. There's so much more offense from the back end. It's really a 5-person unit creating the offense, and now we're going to get our first penalty of the game. Talking a little bit about how we haven't had any special teams play, or haven't had that much through 2+ games. And
Wisconsin, number 26, 2-minute minor, elbow.
Now we got Casey O'Brien, who's taking the first penalty, 2 minutes for elbowing, and Mark Johnson always looks like he's got a smile on his face, even if here's a look at it, a little high. You know, and you look at that, Casey O'Brien's only 5'3", so if her elbow's hitting you in their face, they've got to be a little bit high.
That's definitely not something you want to see in the offensive zone as a coach.
So here goes Ohio State, the #1 power play in the country at 33% with their first power play. They were 0 for 1 Friday against Northeastern, and keep an eye on that player right there, the Patty Kaz winner, Sophie Jakes. She has 9 power play goals. That's tied for most in the country.
Looks like there's a little confusion here on the draw about alignment for Ohio State.
Off the draw, Gardner will get it for Jakes, and she is quickly double-teamed. And a great job there by Britta Curl to get it to the line, but held in by the Buckeyes.
One thing, Ohio State, they've made adjustments to combat players that are playing Sophie Jakes. They know that she's got 9 power play goals. You just mentioned that. So teams are starting to key on, or all season, keying in on her, double teaming her. So Nadine Muzzerall does have adjustments, and as Hillary just mentioned, you can see maybe a little bit of confusion because they're trying to figure it out.
Here's Bazal, who took that puck off the leg earlier. She's in there now. Hands off for Jakes, who puts it right on Cronish.
That was a really smart shot by Jakes. She had coverage in front of the net. You can see Rosenthal right in front of the net screening the goalie. Jakes taking a good bit on net.
You know what Jakes does well right there, too? She's on her forehand, so she's on the onside, but very quickly she gets her feet around. If she's a left shot there, she can take that as a one-timer. But in order to get that, instead of pulling the puck back, she gets her feet around.
61 career goals for Jakes. That's going to come all the way down. There's 61 goals, most ever by a WCHA defenseman. And just a great honor for her winning that Patty Kazmaier Award. You were a part of that ceremony yesterday. She is so humble, though.
She really is. She did a great job accepting it, but you could tell her whole team was so excited for her, too, as anybody's team would be. 3 incredible finalists, but Sophie Jakes very well deserving.
Ohio State trying to find some offensive traction here on this power play. Still 40 seconds to go. The Canadian Emma Malte comes in. She'll drop it back. There's a good-looking shot by Buglioni that hit off the goaltender, and Karam's out of play. This was yesterday at the Patty Cass ceremony here in Duluth, and Sophie Jakes, the first Buckeye ever to win it.
It's your parents right there, and I got the honor of handing her the very heavy trophy. Had to make sure she didn't drop it, but Sophie Jakes just setting records as a defenseman, putting up numbers, and her evolution in her time in Columbus has been one of the most impressive things to see, how she's grown as a player.
See how her teammates just erupted. They were so happy for her. Bazal holding. And Britta Curl blocking another shot. She had 51 blocks coming into the day today. And now she's on the offensive attack. Britta Curl from Bismarck, North Dakota, tried to feed it back to the blue line. And Shayla Edwards is going to have to retreat after it.
Good play there. Rosenthal got a stick on it so that Edwards couldn't control. Wisconsin was trying to kill off the clock with possession.
Final few seconds on this power play. Here's Gardner in the slot, and that's knocked down. 3 shots on goal for Ohio State on that power play, but nothing to show for it. We remain scoreless under 9 minutes to go here in the first.
Misfire there. Emma Malte passing back. Nobody was there. So Ohio State loses possession, has to retreat, come back to full 200 feet.
Peyton Levis out of Rogers, Minnesota, had a couple of goals in last year's Frozen Four. She gets it ahead as Ohio State tries to set up again in the attack zone. Bernard on the near point. Took the handout from Webster, and she's tied up by Shirley. Sophie Shirley, the veteran forward for Wisconsin. Battle along the wall. Buglioni's got it down here for the Buckeyes. She'll swing it over to the far wing side. Picard plays it out of the zone. We didn't say her name a lot on Friday, but she's getting early ice time here for Wisconsin. That's going to be an icing call with 7:56 to go here in the period.
Yeah, it's interesting. We were talking with some of the, whenever you talk to these coaches, of course, how do they manage ice time? And Nadine Muzzerall says she does look at the numbers, when her players are out there in between periods, making sure she's managing it. But it's also a lot of the eye test. What do they look like? Are their legs moving? How are they on their bench? So you can see some of them up on their feet, ready to go. And sometimes you just tell when they're gassed.
Diving out there is Kronish to get the whistle. Just moments ago, Wisconsin killing a penalty and keeping Ohio State off the board. 0-0 here in Duluth. Nadine Muzzerall coaching up the defending national champs, who have 33 wins coming into the day. That's a program record.
Yeah, it is amazing what we talked about it in the open, what she's been able to do here, and between her and her team last year, and then Wisconsin, the back-to-back before them. These two teams have the last 3 championship. Of course, it was not contested in 2020, so the 19 and 21 teams from Wisconsin considered the back-to-backs. And it is amazing how many WCHA teams have won the award since the NCAA started sponsoring it in 2001. Only 3 times a team from out east, Clarkson, all 3 times from the ECAC, have won, but there have been a lot of teams that have come close. Northeastern, they came in and lost in the semifinals. The last 2 years, they bowed out of the Frozen Four in overtime and double overtime. So that was certainly a disappointment for Northeastern on Friday.
There you see McKenna Webster. She had a goal and an assist for Wisconsin in that 4-2 win in 2021 for Wisconsin. The Frozen Four matchup between these two programs. That's the only other NCAA tournament meeting between these two. And so now she shows up on the other side. Jakes thought about winding up from that far wing. Sent in behind for Gardner for Ohio State. They've got 6 shots on goal now as their offense is starting to pick up. And Webster tipped that one on to Kronish, but she's able to keep it out.
There's a chance there. Wisconsin, actually, we just showed the graphic, have only won 2 faceoffs, just won a third, but ultimately lost possession of the puck. So you can see it's partly relentlessness from the Buckeyes, and partly Wisconsin just has to protect the puck better.
The veteran Gabby Rosenthal with some room for Ohio State, but Wisconsin shuts that down really quickly. Now Levis on her backhand going right to the front. Pad save by Kronish. Peyton Levis very quick. 5'5" graduate student, alternate captain for the Buckeyes. And this is going to slide in deep. Bernard hammers it off the wall. Buglioni trying to move it ahead. Kept in by Wisconsin. Sim shot and scores. Kirsten Sims makes it 1-0 Wisconsin.
Well, the freshmen keep rolling for the Wisconsin Badgers. Kirsten Sims, you can see Caroline Harvey jumps up. She's a defenseman, high in her zone. She's able to get the puck, get it deep. Now, by the way, she goes and changes. She doesn't even get a plus for this, even though she's got a ridiculous plus minus this year. But now Wisconsin gets an opportunity, and Shayla Edwards is back there, and then it's just using a screen. What a beautiful shot by Sims on her right shot, shooting across her body, blocker side. What a finish.
Kirsten Sims, she's had a knack against Ohio State this year. Talked about her overtime game winner against the Buckeyes back in February. And now she's got a huge goal here in the national title game. And her second of the tournament.
Her 16th of the season and second of the NCAA tournament. Number 27.
And now we'll see how Ohio State reacts. I mean, it came so easy for them on Friday against Northeastern. 53 shots on goal.
The shots on goal were so lopsided for Ohio State, and a lot of it was just that we talked about it. The offensive zone possession time for them was off the charts. Northeastern really coming out of the gates weren't able to generate much offense, much possession time. Now they're going against a team that does like to have possession. They like to chip the puck into space and use their speed to hunt it down.
Turned over, Brooke Bink gets one on. Cronish able to steer it out of there. Brooke Bink, veteran out of Escanaba, Michigan. As Ohio State's trying to answer after Wisconsin gets the first one here in the late stages of period one. Emma Malte with some speed steps over the line. Trying to get wide. And that one's tipped right on by Buglioni. Cronish gloves it with 5:13 to go.
Quick move to the outside by Emma Malte. We saw that, seen that all season long, and even for those that watched the Olympics last year, winning a gold medal with Team Canada, she just fires up around and gets moving. And you know, that's something that when you look at what Nadine Muswell, she's like, you got to look up. She tells her teams, what defensemen are you going against? But she was going against Harvey and Jungle, so two good defensemen, and she still gets her feet going.
And that's something Ohio State's really, really great at, is they get everyone puck watching, moving one way, and they make a quick tap back pass to someone who's moving the opposite way, and it's really hard to defend.
How about it, Hillary? These freshmen continue to be productive for Wisconsin.
And you know what's crazy is talking to Mark Johnson a couple days ago, he was excited about their sophomore years. So they're totally outperforming, I think, what everyone originally thought they were going to do their freshman seasons. It's really encouraging for the Badger program.
Layla Edwards, the freshman, got the first goal on Friday. KK Harvey got the game winner in overtime against Minnesota. And now the first goal of this one comes from a freshman, Kirsten Sims.
And that line, too, she plays with a freshman and a sophomore, Claire Enright and Lacey Eden. That's a young line. A lot of promise.
Enright's going to get the primary assist. Now Ohio State trying to answer back, but they can't.
Oh, Buglioni, she had that on her stick.
And this is going to roll in deep behind Thiele. Malte leaves it back for Hadley Hartmutz, the former Boston College Eagle. Had a goal on Friday. Bernard swings around. Now soft pass. Malte tries to chop it ahead. Kept in by Enright. Under 4.5 to go in the first. Shots are 12-5 Ohio State, but Wisconsin making one of their shots count. Gardner through a screen, and Cronish equal to the task.
Some of those shots are because of the power play that Ohio State has, but taking a look at Wisconsin's goal right now, this one holds at 1-0. What a shot from the freshman.
All right, Kevin, thank you very much. Back here in Duluth, and yeah, both of these teams averaging over 4 goals per game, but it was kind of a defensive posture early on until Wisconsin broke through with the rookie Kirsten Sims.
Yeah, it definitely was, and you could. It's a championship game. I don't care how experienced you are. There's going to be some nerves as you settle in, even though they've skated at this rink now a couple days. They're still getting used to the board caroms, how everybody's going to go. And now we're getting near the end of the first period. We've broken more than a sweat. Butterflies have maybe subsided a little bit, and they'll settle in, both teams.
And Jesse Kampferlein is out there now for Wisconsin, as Rosenthal trying to tip that one past Cronish with an elevated stick. This one's going to bounce back through the neutral zone, and the play is going to be whistled dead.
You can see that this is the matchup that I mean, Ohio State, but Nadine Muzzerall gets the last change as the top seed. It's a matchup she wants. Comfer going up against Gabby Rosenthal. We've seen her put Emma Malte against Casey O'Brien, so certainly a face-off. They rely heavily on their face-off prowess, Ohio State that is. They win them so cleanly.
Yeah, they win another one there. They win 58% of their draws, just an amazing number. Rebound left out there by Cronish, but Buglioni couldn't chip it past. And now Bazal pinching down, trying to hold it in. Tried to march toward the net, was poked off her stick. Levis sent it on. Right out in front, and Cronish again trying to glove it.
You know, one thing that the way Ohio State plays, they're so gritty, they're so tough. They're getting beat in front of that net front right there. Wisconsin's doing an excellent job. Cami Cronish does give up rebounds, but her team is really battling in front and picking up sticks, not allowing the Buckeyes to get to them.
Malte took a check, got it ahead to Gardner. Gardner left it behind. Now picked up at the circle at center for O'Brien. Bryan for Kotlowski. A wrist shot that goes well wide of the net. Gardner pinching over to play the puck for Malte. And now the Buckeyes will shovel it out to center ice with just over 3 minutes to go here in the opening period.
Buckeyes under pressure there too. That's an unusual play for them to chip it like that.
Here's room for Edwards. A drive knocked down in front by Bazal. Boy, she is taking a punishing amount of hits from pucks in this first period.
And AJ, Ohio State's urgency with that flip getting out of the zone speaks to the Wisconsin Badgers' posture right now of sending that quick F1, putting some pressure on that defenseman, and having a quick F2 right in there. So it feels like you don't have many options, and you have to flip that puck out.
Yeah, and you know, when you look at that, when Ohio State does flip it out, they got to jump on it too. It looked like they did that, and I thought maybe they were looking for a change, but only one player went to the bench. So if they're going to make that desperation play, they got to add a little bit of their own urgency to match the Badgers.
So here we are late in the first. Wisconsin with a 1-0 lead. It's hard to believe that Wisconsin is even here, considering what they went through the first 2 weeks of the calendar year. They did not win a game. They had a 5-game losing streak, and it looked like they were on the outside looking in as far as the NCAA tournament, let alone making the national title game.
Yeah, there's no question that there was a huge chunk of time this year that Mark Johnson and his Badgers were unlikely to be in the NCAA postseason, let alone here up 1-0 in the championship game against the defending champs.
And 2 of those losses, Hillary, were to Ohio State.
They were, and that's a gut check. Trusting the process, making sure everyone's buying in, doing the right things, and that takes a lot of consistent hard work, but buy-in and trusting your teammates that you're going to find yourself in the position, a national championship game, if you do all the things on the way there.
You played for Mark for Wisconsin and Team USA. I don't ever remember seeing him get as heated as I just did. He's very even keel. He's not happy with the ref standing in front of him.
Yeah, he doesn't really say much, and so when he does, you definitely open your ears, but I have not seen him heated, as you just said.
Nice move by Britta Curl to get around the defender and just missed the net. Britta Curl with a bid, the captain for Wisconsin, trying to win a 3rd national championship with the Badgers.
Great back check, back pressure from Layla Edwards right there.
Now Comfer will just slide it in. Under 2 minutes to go.
Ohio State doesn't have a jump right now, and it's amazing what happens. They go down in a hole. It doesn't quite look like panic yet, but they don't. Layla Edwards was not coming quick, and yet she still put enough pressure on Ohio State that they gave up the puck.
The All-American KK Harvey coming in. Wisconsin's offside with 1:40 to go, and that just missed the post moments ago.
Yeah, Britta Curl comes in, captain this team. She's had so much success. She does a lot for this team, and yeah, she steps right around the newest Patty Kazmaier Award winner, Sophie Jakes. And watch what she does here. She uses her left leg to block out Sophie Jakes' stick, and then she's able to rip a shot off the crossbar.
I did get it. Did get the iron. Britta Curl.
She's having herself a game, and
yeah, she really is.
Had a bunch of shot blocks in the defensive zone. It's going to translate well going up the ice for her.
5'8" redshirt senior.
Oop, penalty.
That's going to be a high stick.
There's a look at Britta Curl, and
now Wisconsin's going to have another power play.
2 minutes, high stick.
I was going to say she's a big part of both special teams. Britta Curl, she makes her way back on the ice, gets a moment to sit down, catch her breath, and now Ohio State has to kill this penalty. You can see it right. It's that butt end of Rosenthal goes right in, right into Casey O'Brien's face. Wisconsin had a different power play than I saw with the other 3 teams on Friday. They definitely play a little bit lower. They don't utilize that umbrella. They look more from an overload coming out of the corner.
Wisconsin did not have a shot on goal on the power play against Minnesota on Friday. They went 0 for 2.
Their power play hasn't been a strength this season, but it's certainly been coming alive in the second half of the season, like their whole team, right? We just talked about how they struggled at the beginning of the calendar year. They've sort of started to build, perhaps peaking at the right time, looking at them here on this championship Sunday. But I think their power play is sort of a microcosm of that. In the postseason, they've gone 6 for 20 in the postseason rather. So that's certainly getting some production out of their man up.
18:27 time of the penalty to Rosenthal. Power play for Wisconsin, their first. Kronish will come out of the net and leave it for O'Brien. Boy, if the Badgers can get one here on the power play just ahead of the end of the first period, what a blow that would be to the defending national champs.
Yeah, especially looking at the clock. We talked about this the other day. Clock management, getting in under a minute. Those goals seem to mean more for both teams.
And there's Curl from a sharp angle. Puck goes airborne, drops down in the corner. Here's Comfort from the circle. Lamontia wrist shot, hit a player and bounces around off to the far corner where Eden will leave it back for O'Brien. O'Brien takes it in behind the net, surveying. O'Brien gives it to Lacey Eden. Eden and Curl playing a 2-player game. Backhand centering pass to Curl, and it just missed her tape.
Set play there from O'Brien on that post.
There's Curl again, down below the goal line. There's a one-timer, knocked down in front. Now race for the puck. Peyton Levis, look out, here she comes. Peyton Levis, shot, just missed the net. Short-handed bid for Peyton Levis for Ohio State. 12 seconds to go in the period.
What wheels she showed, that was just breakaway speed.
Now the freshman Layla Edwards with 7 seconds to go in the period. And she has it peeled off her stick, that's going to do it. The power play will carry over into the second. Wisconsin leading 1-0 here in Duluth after the first 20 minutes. The goal by the freshman Kirsten Sims. Entertaining for sure. Our intermission coming up. Kevin Connors and Angela Ruggiero in the studio. Duluth, Wisconsin 1, the defending national champs 0. Wisconsin didn't score until the 7:25 mark of the third period on Friday. They get a first period goal here today in the national title game from Kirsten Sims, the freshman. That's the difference in the game right now.
Well, you look at the shots on goal. 16 shots on goal for Ohio State. Only 6 for, or there was just one right there. So 5 in the first period for Wisconsin. It looks so lopsided, but the eye test, you look out at the ice and it really does, it did look like a more even game to me. I think maybe Wisconsin was just missing the mark a little bit more.
Hillary, Ohio State 3-1-1 when not scoring first this year. One of those wins, though, coming against Wisconsin, and they are the defending champs.
You'd think that they'd just have to throw away all the stats and want to put a full court press here and really just put the season behind, stay hungry, continue to work on their success every single shift, every single period.
Saw a great play there by Buglioni. A good stick, deflecting the puck down out of. Goes to change, but you and I were talking. She had as many shots in the first period as the entire Wisconsin team.
And Jenna Buglioni, she has played very well, the junior from British Columbia. And there's McKenna Webster, the former Badger. She's got something to prove here today, I'm sure. Got it out to center, but the Badgers push it right back in.
We're seeing sort of a feeling out process between both teams right now. Little play in the middle, down the ice, waiting for some opening.
You guys both said neutral zone play is going to be very significant today. We've seen that.
We have seen that, and a lot of it is speed. Both teams just want to. They don't want to spend a lot of time in the neutral zone, right? That's the area you just want to get.
Eden off the turnover, threw it right out in front. Was trying to hook up with Kirsten Sims again. That slid right on through. Enright knocks it down to her stick, and will drive it back in. And a line change for the Badgers.
You see, too, I mean, Hillary, to your point, that these teams are opportunistic, and frankly, so Wisconsin was the more opportunistic in the first period, looking at their shots on goal. They had a post, they have a goal too, and it's just any little mistake. You get to a championship game like this, and every mistake is magnified.
And here's Webster, who we just talked about, McKenna Webster. She was stopped nicely by Maddie Wheeler at the blue line. Wheeler, of course, assisted on the go-ahead goal Friday in the third period against the Gophers. She has had a nice year, the junior from Ontario. This is going to go all the way down into the Wisconsin end. Sloan Matthews is there. She had such a great game on Friday, scoring the first goal for Ohio State. Her line's been a little quiet today. Up along the wall here, Bringman is tied up with Wheeler. Bink is in there for the Buckeyes, trying to move it along. Here comes Buglioni to help out for the Bucks. Past the 3-minute mark of the second period. Is going to slide in behind Cronish. Outlet pass is going to skip through center. Bringman on a foot race with O'Brien, and it comes to Levis's stick for the Buckeyes as they'll break out of their own zone.
See the speed on both sides, because there have been icing calls that both teams have outskated, come down and denied the icing call.
Buglioni intercepts, throws it to the front.
That's just some great forecheck pressure by Ohio State to force Caroline Harvey, one of Wisconsin's big D, to cough the puck up that strong side on that ring.
Malte was right there too, AJ, but she was tied up a bit.
I also think she was trying to get a little cute. She was trying to one-touch it, and she should have just tried to bury it if she could. But she's feisty, but she was getting tied up by the Badgers.
Third Frozen Four for Malte, of course, but last year she was not with the team when they won the national championship. She was with Team Canada, of course, won a gold medal at the Olympics.
There are 10 players on this Buckeye teams that have been to 3 Frozen Fours. She's included.
Here comes Jessie Comfort now. There's a high shot off the shoulder of Thiele. Tried to control it and couldn't, and that was near disaster for Thiele.
Saw a goal like that in the NHL last night against the Toronto Maple Leafs. That's a tough goalie pop. The puck pops up, especially with crowds in the stands. Tough to pick that puck up. She tracked it, though, was able to put it in the corner.
Thiele 4 shutouts on the year, including one against Wisconsin in mid-January, but her team is down a goal here. And if she had given one up there in that kind of situation, that would have been hard to come back from. Bink at center, hands it off. Hosworth, Bink going right to the front. That pass was behind her and off in behind the net. Here's Brooke Bink from the corner. From the half wall, now to Hartmutz. Long shot, knocked down. Bink is able to keep it in the zone. Hosworth threw it back to her, but she's not home, and Eden will almost get it out for Wisconsin. It's going to slide in on Cronish, and we stop the clock with under 15 minutes to go in the second.
Yeah, good pressure from Ohio State right now, but both teams are having a tough time managing the puck. 1-0 Wisconsin here in the second period.
Well, I know you're happy about the Princeton men being an Ivy Leaguer. Oh, not so much. You can't root against
I don't know.
Can't root for the other Ivy League teams? Is that what it is?
It depends on the Ivy League, which team it is. Princeton, I have a tough time rooting for. Sorry.
It's
Sorry,
not
Tigers.
Yale, AJ.
Yeah, that's true.
Harvard great AJ Malesko up here in the booth. Hillary Knight, the Badger Hall of Famer. In fact, the all-time leading scorer, goal scorer at Wisconsin, men's and women's, Hillary Knight between the benches. And we got an icing call here with 14:31. Hillary, I know it's a big thrill to be covering Wisconsin again this year, your alma mater. Talk about your relationship with Mark Johnson. I know he's the guy who recruited you to Madison, and what that meant to you when he got you there.
He's instrumental to my development both on and off the ice. I mean, what an incredible program, but to be led by that man, I mean, just it was such an honor and such a privilege. I can't say enough about how instrumental he was for my development.
And he told us this week the WCHA was never tougher in his entire 20 years of coaching at Wisconsin.
It's amazing to me watching it as a spectator, as a broadcaster, the parity that they have and the up and down, and the more and more teams that they are offering, Division I in the WCHA, but also just in the NCAA, and I love it. I've got 2 daughters that have played. One has continued to play, and you just look at the opportunities that they have. It's amazing, and look at that from 1980. Miracle on Ice. I mean, you and I were talking about it. It's an amazing jersey, but the gloves that go up almost to his elbows and his hair, I mean, there, and there's Abby Rock. Olympian, a Wisconsin alum with a pup. Hillary, what's her dog's name? Do you know?
That's not her dog, but she's always got someone else's dog in her hands. We call her the mare.
I was always impressed when Mark was coaching you guys in 2010. I was covering those games, hearing all about his Ironman. It's like everything that he was doing, staying fit. He's an incredible guy.
Wisconsin, a little pressure here. Thiele able to steer that one away. Jungles holds it in on the near point for Wisconsin. Badgers have it in the slot. Comfort trying to settle it down and does. She'll give it off to Harvey. Harvey high in the slot. Looking for room, sends it over the top of the crossbar into the far wing. KK Harvey, WCHA Rookie of the Year out of Salem, New Hampshire. Was the big hero on Friday.
Yeah, she was the hero. She says that Casey Bellamy and Megan Duggan are two of her heroes growing up, role models. She is from the Northeast, from New England. Otherwise, I'm sure you would have been one of her role models, Hillary.
Those are some great role models to have.
They sure are.
That's someone, Caroline Harvey, you don't want having that much time and space running the top of your offensive zone there, or I guess defensive zone for the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Played to the line and out.
What's impressed me about KK Harvey is how much of the ice she covers. She's just a great skater, so she seems to be everywhere. She's up high in the zone, she's creating offense, and then she's never out of position defensively.
Another good Wisconsin freshman, Enright, got it through the neutral zone. Back to the Ohio State end. Bringman gathers it up. She'll lug it through the neutral zone. Long shot for her. Lazy rebound left out there by Cronish, but Ohio State couldn't do anything with it.
And the Badgers had one less person back because of a stick that got, I think they wanted a slash on that play. Lacey Eden lost her stick and had to come to the bench, so there was a quick rush for Ohio State.
And it was right in front of me. I was surprised she didn't pick her stick up. And didn't appear to be broken, but I think she wanted to change anyway.
Wisconsin's done a pretty good job limiting Ohio State in shots on goal here in this period. As I say that, here comes Sophie Shirley trying to feed the front for Wheeler, and Ohio State drove her to the outside.
That chance right there was created by a good stick by Casey O'Brien in the neutral zone, just a little poke off pink stick, and there she's able to get that odd man rush.
Bringman slams it off the glass, can't get it out. O'Brien trying to turn it toward the front, fighting off a check. And now here's Layla Edwards. She's been a little quiet in this one after that big game on Friday. And she really stands out on the ice. She is 6'1" and just a commanding presence.
Yeah,
now she gives it to O'Brien, and it's snared by Thiele. Nice play, Edwards to O'Brien, but they can't get it past the netminder.
Jessie Comfer came over. She's a graduate student. She spent a couple years at Boston University, and now she's also a U.S. Olympian, and she gets a good chance. You can see she's looking up, trying to pass it, and is only left with the shot, and then a chance for Ohio State. And you know, one thing we did notice on Friday is a lot of rebounds that Cami Cronish gives up. There's one right there. I thought in the first period, she did an excellent job with her rebound control.
Vivian Jungles just touched one off, and it snuck on through. Good pad save by Thiele to keep it out of the net. Vivian Jungles missed Minnesota last year, logs a lot of minutes, especially since Natalie Bookbinder went out for the year for the Badgers. Jungles, the freshman, has stepped up on defense. Loose here at center. Bazal will skate back to get it for Ohio State. The Buckeyes come in with Rosenthal. Gardner tried to play it.
That just speaks to the programming, the structure that the Badgers have. And one of the things of trusting the process, one of your D-core, if Natalie Bookbinder goes down, and it's sort of that next person up mentality and making sure you're fostering the next generation to hop in and fill those shoes.
Britta Curl right there, upset that there wasn't a call on Sophie Jakes. There was a little tussle right inside the Wisconsin blue line. Jakes was down, so wasn't able to get back on side. Otherwise, it would have been a chance for, you know what? She's got a point there. Good. You look at what Sophie Jakes did. It's a subtle play. The refs missed it, but she puts her hands down on the hips.
Wozniewicz off the turnover gets a shot on, and Thiele makes the save. Boy, Wozniewicz, sophomore from Alberta. She's also at a quiet national tournament, but nearly made it 2-0.
Yeah, and just a blown tire there by the defenseman, and she jumps on that puck. Wozniewicz does not have had a ton of ice time that line with her Picard and Grace Shirley, the younger sister, or the older sister rather, excuse me. And you look at what they've been able to do when they get out there. It's tough to not play a lot and jump in and try to make a difference. Sorry, I had it right the first time. Grace is the younger sister of Sophie.
Right.
There are a lot of sisters out here.
There have been a lot of sisters here in the Frozen Four.
Yeah, I know.
Minnesota had a couple.
I played with my sister, so I get it. It's fun.
It's got to be a big treat, especially to make it this far. Levis for the Buckeyes. Malte with her. Trying to get it through the screen of LaMontia. Trying the wraparound. Doesn't go. Went right on through the blue paint for Levis. Now Peschel played across. Back for Emma Peschel. Freshman from Edina, Minnesota.
Lively, Hillary Knight. Come on.
You're good.
back in your heyday, you would have had that, right? Come on.
Shouldered that.
Get back in training. Oh, there it is. Good replay. Can we? Oh, we need to. Yeah, that's good. Maybe a little super slow-mo.
That's it?
Yeah. Progressive's Home Quote Explorer makes it easy to compare home insurance options.
Man.
You still got it.
It went wide.
Too. Getting ready for the World Championships coming up in a couple weeks.
Good thing I don't play goalie.
Under 10 to go, second period. You know, I often thought about that. You know, Hillary, would you want to wear a helmet down there? We can get one for you.
Absolutely not. I've got the best seat on earth right now for this hockey game. No obstructed view.
From the corner, O'Brien right in front, looking for Harvey, who was pinching down. Well, that just failed to click. O'Brien again. Trying to center. Sophie Shirley couldn't knock it out of the air. Well, the Badgers look like they're on the power play right now. That one's ramped up off a stick from Harvey and up into the net.
Good pressure by Wisconsin. You said they look like they're on the power play. They're moving the puck, they're possessing it, and they're carrying the play currently.
Nadine Muzzerall very concerned. With 9:16 to go here in the second period, she has her team down right now in this game and trying to pull them out of it.
Well, she demands excellence, and she is very disciplined. She demands that from her team. They are dialed in. They play a certain way, and they all have bought into that. So far, this is not Ohio State hockey the way that they've played. Obviously, in the beginning, they did outshoot them, but they're down right now. In that last couple minutes, they were on their heels in the D zone. So Nadine Muzzerall, who is usually chomping away on her gum. I did ask her. I didn't see her chewing gum on Friday in the semifinals. She said it's still there, but some frustration from the coach. But she has, they have so much respect for her. It is amazing what she's been able to accomplish in her run as the Ohio State head coach.
Hillary, have you been able to pick up anything from the Ohio State benches? Well, what Nadine's been saying down there?
Yeah, you know, I can't quite make out exactly what she's saying, but she's not necessarily happy with what the product is right now on the ice. I mean, they've got great face-off percentages, so they should have better possession time, but it just seems like things aren't clicking the way they usually are for Ohio State.
You know, it is interesting. Look at Wisconsin. They're playing much freer, and a lot of that is there's no pressure on them. We've talked about it. They weren't even supposed to make the postseason at one point in this season. They come in now, they're the underdogs, and they're playing like it. And for Ohio State, they look like they're playing with a little bit of that pressure.
And Wisconsin looks like the more confident team right now. Shayla Edwards with a shot. That's broken up. Emma Malte tried to clear the zone for the Buckeyes. And now they finally will get it out. Stretch pass for Levis, but she is cut down by Britta Curl. Now, last year was a season of firsts for Ohio State. First 30-win season, first #1 national seed, first national title. It's harder to win when you're expected to win.
Yeah, and she talked also about how a lot of her players have chips on their shoulders because they weren't recruited by Wisconsin or Minnesota, the two big dogs in the WCHA, right? And obviously that's going to change now that they've won a national title and they've been to 3 straight Frozen Fours. But she said that her players do have a little bit of that chip.
Jen Gardner plays it across for Bernard, now for Webster. And she is stood up by her former teammates, turned over at center. Rosenthal now keeping it in the zone for Ohio State.
Wanting to change, though. Good job by her. Take a deep breath, get it deep, and then get fresh legs.
This game's really going to be about securing those blue lines and making sure that when you do have the puck, you're possessing it and placing it in the right positions for your teams to have, your other teammates to have success. And right now, Wisconsin's been a little lackadaisical with their blue line play.
Long shot for Helgeson. Easy save Thiele, and she's able to clear it out. There's going to be a race for the puck back in the Wisconsin zone. Helgeson and Hosworth. Hosworth tried to pop it loose for Matthews. Still knotted up against the wall. Helgeson finally digs it free, and now turned over as Bink keeps it in deep for Ohio State. Brooke Bink with a nice play. Drops it back. There's a shot. That went wide for Malte.
Deflected wide. That was a good. She looked like she was going to try to load it up, and the last minute just let it fly pretty quickly.
And that's a great read by Nadine Muzzerall with emphasizing who's on the ice for the Wisconsin Badgers. It's their third D pairing and making sure your top line's out against them.
Room for Buglioni, who's had a great game, and she went high over the crossbar.
And then got taken out. That was Katie Kotlowski. Swiped out her feet.
Shanna Buglioni has been flying around the ice today for Ohio State, but nothing to show for it. Leading the team in shots. Coming up on 6 minutes to go here in the second period. Still 1-0 Wisconsin in the national championship game. Swung back down into the corner. Played to the middle. Malte on a backhand.
Malte could have had that. If she kept it on her forehand, she had a shot. I don't know why she pulled it back to her backhand.
And a player thrown down in front. That was Levis. No whistle. Bouncing puck out in front of Kronish. Wisconsin gets it to the side wall, and it is a hand pass, stopping the clock with 5:46.
So Ohio State showing a little bit of patience, a little bit of poise in the offensive zone. Malte gets that shot, and good block by Wisconsin, sacrificing. And then you were just talking about it. Buglioni comes down, and then watch that right there on the right side of your screen. And it's not on purpose. Kotlowski's just trying to make a diving play because Buglioni was all alone coming in. It doesn't hit the net.
I think we're getting a timeout here.
Yeah, we have Kotlowski. Wisconsin Badgers, Kotlowski stuck on the ice, and I think Mark Johnson just wants to give them a little bit more rest to make sure the right matchup's going to be out there. Obviously, they can't change, but getting some more rest in those legs, so there's not a flurry on that for them, will be critical.
You know, it's a tough road to the championship when you think about Mark Johnson's Badgers here. They had LIU in that first round matchup. LIU, of course, big underdogs, but excited to be in the national tournament for the first time representing the Newhaw. And then they had to play the 3-seed Colgate, which they beat to get to the Frozen Four, beat the 2-seed Minnesota in overtime, and now here they are against the favorite all year, the defending national champs, and 1-seed Ohio State, and they've got a 1-goal lead here late in the second period.
But, you know, if you're on a team like that, though, you just keep proving people wrong, and you feed off of that energy and that adrenaline. And you look here, most NCAA national titles, of course, Minnesota did win in 2000 when it was sponsored by the AWCHA. So you look at that, they're on top of the NCAA mountain. Minnesota Duluth just shy. They won the first 3, Minnesota Duluth Bulldogs. You know, they're looking to try to lead that list with their 7th title. And as you mentioned, they just keep proving people wrong. They made it into the postseason play. It wasn't necessarily a foregone conclusion that they would be in the postseason. They had that extra game against LIU, and I think that there's something so energizing about that when you keep doing what people don't expect you to do.
What a year it's been in women's college hockey. We're going to crown a champion here today. It was an 11-team tournament. Again, the second year of that, expanding from 8 teams a couple of years ago.
It's interesting right there. Ohio State, they've been great on the faceoffs, but situation right there, that was a clean win back, but the puck was bouncing, and Sophie Jakes wasn't able to keep it in the zone. So, you know, that's the sort of stuff they have to manage it. I don't know if that's now. They're not used to playing from behind. They score a lot of goals, and so for them, they're down 1-0. Here's a look at the faceoff, and Sophie Jakes is standing right behind her. Often you'll see defensemen off to the side a little bit. Obviously, Emma Malte is there. She's a left shot, but Emma Malte has a knack for winning it directly behind her and just bounced over Sophie Jakes' stick.
Ohio State controls the draw. Bazal sent it down. There's a shallow angle shot for Sophie Jakes. Buckeyes will regroup back in their own end. Here is the 26th Patty Kazmaier Award winner, Sophie Jakes, playing it in on a cross-angle dump. And the Badgers get it back to the Ohio State end quickly.
Good posture there by Gabby Rosenthal. She was high in the zone because Sophie Jakes was aggressive on the pinch, and that gives them that high guy to help on the back check.
Past the 15-minute mark of the period. Here comes Levis for the Buckeyes. Kronish gloves it. Cami Kronish having a nice game for Wisconsin between the pipes. Badgers leading at 1-0 late in the second. There's Ohio State AD Gene Smith at the championship game again this year. We saw him in State College last year.
Out on the ice?
Yeah, and he was teared up a little bit last year. Maybe he will be again this year if Ohio State can win it. Or maybe he'll be crying if they lose it. I don't know.
Either way, different set of tears. But I know that Ohio State is, we talked to Matt Muzzerall about new arena for them too, and something that they are going to get in the next couple of years. They've built a ton of new stadiums and different facilities in Columbus, but that's something that is certainly on the list.
No credit to Gene Smith for supporting women's hockey. Wisconsin side of the net. There was O'Brien, and Wheeler was lurking on the short side.
I think it was Wheeler got away with what looked like a penalty to me.
Fairly penalty-free game. It's been a penalty-free Frozen Four for the most part. Off to an empty wing off the stick of Malte. Now Ohio State controls in the slot. Bernard lost it in her skates. Wisconsin comes up with it. Lacey Eden, a punishing check from Hartmutz. It's just a clean play, no whistle.
Yeah, you know, I actually thought that was a good non-call. She angled her off. She went and made a little noise, Lacey Eden, against the board, so maybe it sounded, but I thought that was a good defensive play.
Adley Hartmutz out of Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. Played in that national championship game last year for Ohio State, just a short car ride from home. Now Gardner in the corner, doing battle there with Vivian Jungles. Viv Jungles has had a good tournament for the Badgers. Under 3.5 to go here in the middle period. Along the wall, Bregman, long shot, rebound, Kronish scrambles to cover up.
One thing Nadine Muzzerall talked about was battling in front of the net, gritty, boxing out, and fighting for your real estate. And they haven't done that through the first half of this game, but watch Gabby Rosenthal. She's won. This rebound bounces, and the first one on the scene right there is going to be Gabby Rosenthal. She can't find it, but she's there.
Read my mind, AJ. I was just going to say that the Badgers have done a great job of picking up bodies and clearing out sticks in front of the net, and everything that's been dropped right in front of the net, Kronish has been able to see pretty well so far tonight.
Ohio State won that draw, but then sweeping it out of the zone, Britta Curl. Buckeyes have to regroup in their own end. Good headman pass. Malte pulls up, waiting for reinforcements. Tried to play it to the middle, broken up by the Badgers.
Malte was waiting for Bazal, who just couldn't quite get there.
Here's Malte again. She'll flip it in, tries to go wide around LaMontia. LaMontia is such a steady defender out of Wayne, Illinois.
Wisconsin's just taking away time and space. They are within a stick length of the puck carrier almost at all time, really putting them under pressure and forcing Ohio State to give the puck away.
Still waiting to see the Buckeyes' best game. We have not seen that yet today, Adrian.
Yeah, no, and I think a lot of it is credit to the Badgers. The way that they're playing exactly the way that's going to frustrate this Buckeyes team with Nadine Muzzerall. I trust that she's got some stuff up her sleeve. She adjusts as needed, but right now the Wisconsin Badgers are just leaning on them, taking away that time and space and staying close.
You know, Ohio State won their first WCHA regular season title. Minnesota won the conference tournament. Wisconsin, in a lot of ways, an afterthought in the WCHA. Certainly in early January they were, but here they are leading 1-0 in the second period of the national championship game.
Right there, you can see it's good. It looks like it's going to be a 3-on-2 developing, and there were just red shirts everywhere, getting their stick in the way and frustrating the Buckeyes.
Jen Gardner, second team All-American, tried to play it for Ohio State. It's spit back out to center ice. Here comes Wisconsin now. Jungles has some room to operate. Vivian Jungles, great centering pass for O'Brien, but she was tied up coming in from the near wing.
Kenna Webster, great cover.
Now Jungles again, wrist shot, down low, broken up by Bazal. Again takes a puck off the body. Boy, Bazal is going to be black and blue after this one. Now Harvey from just inside the blue line, a laser right onto Thiele, and she couldn't control the rebound. Here's Eden again, stapled up against the wall by Bernard. Puck caught in the skates of Lacey Eden. The officials letting them play on with under 1.5 minutes to go in the period. Now to the right point for LaMontia, slides it down along the boards. Thrown out in front, loose puck, and it's stick to the corner by McKenna Webster. Can't get it out. Got it to the line, but that's it for Webster. Good pressure here on the forecheck by Wisconsin.
And these Buckeyes that are out here now are gassed.
LaMontia again, another drive. Blocker save over the top of the net.
Oh, knew where it was.
A minute to go in the period. Shayla Edwards a drive. That hit Bernard. She was trying to find it. Wisconsin still dangerous here in the attack zone. Eden calling for it. She'll slide it out for LaMontia. The lefty puts it down in front. Another great opportunity for Wisconsin. Another drive that missed. And that time it was Sims. Well, it feels like another power play.
Well, they can keep getting changes, right? They're in the offensive zone, and Ohio State cannot.
Ohio State is gassed. Here's Shayla Edwards again. Low shot. Diving out is Thiele. And she'll finally get the whistle for Ohio State as these Wisconsin fans, and there are a ton of them here in Duluth, come to their feet.
Yeah, and Thiele there almost couldn't find that puck. They desperately needed her to get a whistle for them. They weren't able to get the puck out. And here's the turnover. There was a turnover that put them into the zone here, and this is what happened. They got a shot from Edwards, and then Thiele's able to cover up and give them the get the whistle. But a lot of pressure. You can see the bodies in front. That's tough for Thiele, and that's exactly what Wisconsin's trying to do. Get there, get a bouncing puck. It doesn't matter how pretty it is. They all count the same.
Well, Shayla Edwards almost had a goal 5-hole. Just caught the pad of Amanda Thiele. And we know that the Edwards girls' parents are in attendance, and I know they're vocal here today. Loose puck at center. Foot race. Wheeler is going to get there first for Wisconsin. Throws it right on Thiele. That's never a bad option, especially with the clock winding down. Thiele able to make the save, and it stays a one-goal game going to the third period. Entertaining, especially at the end. Wisconsin 1, Ohio State nothing. The national championship game in Duluth through 2. Now to the studio, Kevin Connors and Angela Ruggiero. They have shut it down in the third period when it comes to opponents scoring. But Ohio State has not been shut out this season. Keep that in mind as we go forward. So here we go.
Be a tough time to have their first time they're kept off the score sheet.
What a game it's been for Jenna Buglioni. Number 10 gets it up to the point, and Bazal, they'll cycle it back in behind Kronish, the goaltender for Wisconsin, who has been outstanding.
We talked a lot about shots on goal in the first period, which were heavily in Ohio's favor, 16-5. But Wisconsin carried the shots on goal stat 11-6 in the second period. No goals scored in that second frame, though.
Here's Britta Curl. Got her stick on it. She'll just guide it in deep into the Ohio State end. Thinking about Cami Kronish's play, guys. After Taylor Heisey scored .323 into the game on Friday, she held Minnesota scoreless for almost 56 minutes. And she has done a great job holding Ohio State off the board today.
Yeah, and what I've been impressed with, and I said this earlier, is that her rebound control looks better here today than it did in their semifinal against the Gophers on Friday. She does get a lot of help from her team. They've got a very disciplined defensive zone coverage, but I like the way Cami today has swallowed up a lot of the rebounds.
Puck out in front of the benches, now spit loose to the blue line. Here comes Wisconsin with a little room. Enright decides to just throw a soft shot on goal on the backhand, and Thiele gloves it. As you look at Cami Kronish there, the New York City native, 6 feet tall, came into the day with a 1.61 goals against. She has been really good throughout the year, especially the last 2 months.
Yeah, 37 saves against Minnesota, the highest scoring offense in the country in the regular season. So, you know, that was certainly no easy feat.
Kronish is going to leave this one go. LaMontia will chase after it for the Badgers. Levis went there as well. This is going to slide all the way back down into the Ohio State end.
Linesman determined it was a touched, so no icing.
7th all WCHA final. Kirsten Sims, the only goal in this hockey game. It came at 13:28 back in the first, and she might be hurt. She's over on the bench being looked at right now. Bazal holds it in for the Buckeyes. That went off the post. The base of the left post. Madison Bazal making a bid. She's had a couple of goals this season against Wisconsin. Wheeler now trying to play it for the Badgers. Does get it out to center, but it's jammed right back in by the Bucks. Edwards gets it out to neutral ice. Back to the Ohio State line. Here comes Gardner again for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Plays it off the wall. Now Gardner going right to the net. Played it off the side of the cage, and jumping out is Cronish to get the whistle.
Let's look at Kirsten Sims on the bench, and looks a little shaken up. And here's the play that happened. She collides with Emma Malte. No dirty play, just a hockey play, but takes her shoulder to her face, and sometimes that's just got to keep an eye on players like that. Obviously, there's always a concern from the training staff about head injuries.
And those shots to the jaw definitely hurt, and that's really much what the team behind the team does. And Steph is a great athletic trainer for the UW Badgers, making sure that Sims is going to be at her best when she joins the ice.
Jesse Comfer with a rush for the Badgers.
And if you ever had those issues, or still do, I felt like I was so much taller than people. I got helmets to my jaw. I used to get jaw issues all the time.
That's smart.
And you know, it's a little bit of a high hit if they're hitting us at 6 foot something.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's been a long time since we saw her goal back in the first period. Claire Enright got the assist. Two freshmen combining on that lone goal in this championship game. Past the 3.5-minute mark. Here's a good headman pass for Enright. Enright moving in. Enright tried to get on the backhand past Thiele, and it slid off her stick. Great chance there for Wisconsin to make it 2-0.
Peyton Levis might have gotten her stick in there to help prevent the second chance there.
We talked to Mark Johnson about Enright, Hillary, and he says she's got such a great hockey IQ.
He says she's got such a great hockey IQ, and she's hungry to learn more. I think that's what you want of some of these young stars. You want them to be rink rats and students of the game, and he said he's really excited to see her sophomore year.
Mark Johnson's got such a veteran team this year, and it's been the freshman here in this game carrying the play. No call. Wheeler and Bregman tied up behind the net, and now we will have a penalty.
They always get the retaliator.
Bregman got a little extra after the initial no call, and obviously the officials saw that. As to your point, they get the retaliator.
Number 13, Ohio State, 2 minutes for roughing.
Yeah, you take that, and you got to manage your emotions in a game. I know there's some frustration on the Ohio bench anyway, just because of the score and how the game has played out, but got to maintain your emotion. And this is in their defensive zone. There's a play right here. Wheeler, when she goes down, she hauls her down too. It looks like, you know what, honestly, it looks like not much of a call right there anyway, and it was when she got up from that she gave an extra shove. That was what the call was. The ref skated right over, watched the way they untangled from each other.
Riley Bregman for roughing at 4:25, just her third penalty of the game. So Wisconsin's going to go on the power play for the second time.
Yeah, and they were tangled up here. Maybe, you know, they're both holding on to each other at this point. I think the refs are thinking, I'm not calling either, because to take them both, they go down, and then, you know, when they were trying to get up, Bregman took her back down, and that's what the ref saw. That's when her arm went up.
Let's see if the Badgers can get a big goal here in the third period. There's a save by Thiele. She'll control the rebound. 1:43 to go in this power play.
Feels like there's pressure on the power play here. This is a huge opportunity, double the lead, and put the game really, I mean, that's a tough hole for Ohio State at this point. They've had trouble generating good scoring opportunities, so if they've got a bigger hole, dig in.
Drive knocked down. Emma Malte took that puck, and it skips up out of play. You think about the penalty kill for Ohio State. They killed all 4 penalties on Friday, including a 5-on-3 for 1:35. If they've ever needed their penalty kill, they need it now.
Yeah, and they're ready. When we were talking to Muzzer all about it, she was saying that they pressure when they want to pressure, and then they can also, she doesn't like them to go too far out. Give them the outside shot and stay tight, stay compact.
Minute and a half to go in this power play for the Wisconsin Badgers, leading 1-0. In behind the goal line. O'Brien plays it to LaMontia, the veteran, back down into the corner. This is Comfer. Comfer for O'Brien, the one-timer. Thiele, the save, rebound, cleared but not out.
Jakes was going to jump on that loose puck. Her leg got caught.
Comfer again, attacking. Shot blocked by Sophie Jakes and knocked out of the zone by the Buckeyes.
Jakes and Bazal stay out there. They have logged so much time on ice, shorthanded for this team this season. They're out there all the time. Here goes Malte. I thought she was going to, out of gas. Otherwise, I think she would have taken off.
Hard to believe it, Hillary, but we have not had a special teams goal in this Frozen Four.
It's wild because usually you think of big, heavy contending national champions and how great their special teams are, and we have not seen one, to your point, this entire time, which is quite bizarre.
Sophie Shirley takes it wide. She'll wrap it off the end boards. Off to the far wing. Wisconsin still 30 seconds to go in this man advantage. Drop back, KK Harvey. This is where she's dangerous from the point on the power play. Harvey dropping it back. Jungles. Knuckler in behind the net. Now to the side of the cage. Backhand lifted up over the top of the net. And Ohio State is able to get it out. Final few seconds of this power play. This will be a huge kill for Ohio State if they can get it done. And they will, as Bringman is out of the box. Buglioni fell down. She'll get off the ice.
A little tangled up a little bit. She was looking for an interference call. None came.
Now Jungles again. Jungles, backhand. Thiele did not see it. It's under her pads. She's able to get the whistle with 13:18 to go.
Wow, that looked like it was going to sneak through the 5-hole, but coming off of that power play, Wisconsin comes in with some speed right here. A backhand opportunity. Almost squeaked through, but still 1-0.
As well, alongside A.J. Malesko and Hillary Knight, I'm Clay Matvick. We're watching a dandy here in the women's championship game of college hockey from Duluth. 1-0 Wisconsin, the underdogs in this championship tilt.
Not playing like it, though.
No, they haven't. Long drive from Bazal, knocked down by the Badgers. Bazal holds it in on the near point. Is this game going to end 1-0? Is that possible?
We were just saying that during that media timeout, and Hillary, you were saying you don't think so. I don't. It's tough for these teams right now. This game is tight. They're having a tough time scoring, and
oh, now Buglioni, great pass. Oh, what a save! Kronish came out and stoned Levis.
I was sort of looking for Buglioni to shoot that puck too. She was in a great spot.
Now Ohio State is flying around.
Easy to say from up here.
Buckeyes with a sense of urgency. It feels like we've been waiting for them to explode. This is going to come all the way back down, and an icing call against Wisconsin.
Yeah, let's take another look at that, and it's a great opportunity. They haven't had many of these. I was just saying how jammed up it is in that slot. She's on her onside, and then, you know, it's also a different thing if you look over there and Levis is on her, she's a left shot, then she can one-time it, but she tries to just touch it. It's a great effort by her to try to do it. Look at Kronish. This is a good look. That slide from right to left. She's out high because she has to cover the angle, but she's able to come back diagonal, not across, to make sure she seals the post.
Levis was so big in last year's national championship game. Had a power play goal. Here's Gardner, a drive off the glass.
Some frustration. You can see Jen Gardner slammed her stick a little bit right afterwards. Somebody who scores a lot of goals for the team right now, maybe gripping their sticks a little bit too tightly.
She's got 21 on the year. Jakes with a big blast. A nuclear bomb that missed the net. And a rebound.
Turned around. Back was facing the puck.
Kronish was looking to pick up her stick and really just got lost in the shuffle there where the puck was coming from.
Now Gardner comes back in. Gardner, little toe drag. Slides that one wide.
Definitely the pressure from Ohio State is picked up, but it's impressive to watch the Badgers continue to shut down that net front area.
We haven't seen many grade A opportunities until the last couple minutes here from Ohio State. And it just speaks to the commitment of the forwards and defensemen just eating pucks in front of their goaltender.
Good check there by Comfer to take Malte out of the play. But the Buckeyes are able to move it ahead. Slammed in by Buglioni. Harvey will send it back for Jungles. Now Layla Edwards trying to chip it out of the zone for the Badgers and does. At center, Levis tried to play it.
Good pressure by Jessie Comfer.
And now Buglioni again. Buglioni trying to step around Jungles. They get in a tangle, and that carries in behind the net. Good job by Ohio State there.
And Jungles, too. Again, tight coverage.
Oh, another back check. No penalty called.
I like that no call.
Player goes down again, and play continues. That's what you want to see here in the third period of the national title game, especially when it's 1-0.
I mean, I played D, so I do think that it's a defensive play to try to do that.
Comes to the stick of Shayla Edwards. Gets it down for Eden. Trying to move there, Sims. She's got the only goal in this game. Eden maybe looking for a wraparound. Great patience there by Lacey Eden, and she sent it wide of the cage.
It's Lacey's second shot on net in this one shift here.
Eden, no goals in the postseason. You get the feeling that she's due. And we said it before, guys. Feels like next goal wins. Whoever gets it is going to carry that momentum maybe to a championship. Bink tried to step around Harvey. Now's Bink feeding the front. Bernard fanned at a one-time.
Yeah, it did look real close offside. Good stretch play, though, by Ohio State. We'll look to see them try to do that a little bit more. Not give up defensively, but have one person out high.
O'Brien stood up at the blue line.
Now,
Ohio State will regroup at center.
We'll never know now.
Bernard takes it wide. Bernard threw it through the crease. A shot from Bink, and Cronish saw it. Came out a couple of steps to cut off the angle.
Aggressive play by Cami Cronish right there to cut that off. More physicality. We talked about that at the beginning of this third period, and it has continued. And you know what? I like that these refs are letting them play. These are big, strong athletes. Bazal does not extend her arms too much until she's down, but still, they're looking for the equalizer.
For one of these teams, Wisconsin with a 1-0 lead. Going for a record 7th national title. Ohio State looking for the equalizer, trying to defend their crown. Draw controlled by Wisconsin. They're going to send it all the way down, and that's an icing. Now it's waved off.
Well, yeah, Sophie Jake sort of, I think, thought it was going to be an icing and let Jessie Comfort jump around her.
Shayla Edwards holds the point on the right side, throws it down behind the Ohio State net. Shayla Edwards out of Cleveland Heights, Ohio, puts it on Thiele, and she's going to make no mistake, elects to get the draw in her own end with under 9 to go.
Yeah, you know, I think that's managing the clock too, making sure defensive zone, get the people out that you want, and a reminder that Ohio State, as the top seed, do have the last change, so Nadine Buzzerall can put out who she wants. And look at Sophie Jakes, who's been so instrumental to this team the last 2 years, certainly this season, but Buzzerall gets her that line at Gabby Rosenthal out there to go against against Kirsten Sims. Good to see her back out there.
Another face-off win for the Buckeyes. Good headman pass to Gardner. Gardner, a shot well wide of the net.
That's what we're seeing, though. The Badgers are only giving that outside shot, and so Ohio State obviously is trying to get as many shots off as they can. They're not dangerous, though, and Cami Cronish able to see most of them.
Yeah, not grade A shots. Not as many as they would like, that's for sure. Hartsmiths gets it across. Buckeyes get it out to center where it's knocked down there by Sims. She's got the only goal in this national championship game. Sophie Shirley trying to take it wide to Bernard. Shirley a shot. Save Thiele. Rebound is loose. Wheeler centers. Man, great save there by Thiele. Her team absolutely needs her now. They can't afford to give up another one as we get a play whistled down here with 8:01 to go.
And you can see as this play develops, too, Jungles ends up getting tangled up. Shirley first drops the leg, comes in, gets a shot. Rebound, unfortunately for Thiele, goes off her own defenseman and comes right back at her. Could have been a very dangerous play, but got some help from her team in front of her.
Amanda Thiele took over for Andrea Brandley midseason last year when Brandley left to play for the Swiss national team in the Olympics, and she hasn't looked back. It's been her net ever since.
It's been impressive, too, the way she's been able to dominate.
She's kept her team in it, down 1-0 as Malte carries in. The captain plays it back to the near point. Bazal pinching and holding it in. Shayla Edwards for Wisconsin. Got it to Sophie Shirley. Shirley's just going to slide it back down the length of the ice as Wisconsin makes a change. the shifts are going to be shorter now, I would think, the rest of the way for both teams.
Both teams, absolutely. And for Wisconsin, got to keep playing the same way they are. They have that looseness that they've had all game because they are the underdogs, but it's managing the clock, making sure Hillary, as you talked about, around the blue lines, getting it into the areas where they can then go chase, but keep that pressure alive.
Comfer in the middle, trying to get a shot off, was neutralized by the Patty Kaz winner, Sophie Jakes. Great job with the stick by Jakes to tie her up.
And a good play here by Jakes to just put it in space and appreciate the speed of Brooke Brink to try to chase down the icing. If you're Ohio State, to finish that thought for them, they've got to start taking some chances. Just under 7 minutes here, down by a goal, been tough to create opportunities. So they're going to have to start making sure their D are pinching, keep pucks alive in the offensive zone.
Truly, there's no picking your areas to jump in. It's almost like everybody's got to jump in, all hands on deck, get more pucks to the net, really pepper her, and try and make sure that nothing's left in front. Really pick that up and drive hard.
Layla Edwards trying to spring herself off the boards. Ridden to the outside nicely by Hartsmith. Comes right out in front of Thiele, and Webster sweeps in to scoop it out of there for Ohio State. Now here's Webster, the former Badger. Can she tie it up? Nice move to get around her defender. And then Wisconsin shoots it right back out to neutral ice. 6 minutes to go in the national championship game. Jakes, long shot. Cronish saw it the whole way.
Good low shot by Jakes, maybe hoping there's a low rebound, but look at this defense at the other end. You got a bunch of players back pressure. Sophie Jakes gets her stick in there, does a good job. You got Matthews back, and then Houseworth here too. That's the back pressure. You got all of the Buckeyes back trying to protect, to help out and make sure that they're able to get possession and turn that. I mean, under 6 here. Their backs are against the wall.
Both teams' top lines out there right now. There's a big blast from the point.
Talk about eating a puck.
Yeah, that was Wheeler that took
ball.
that one from Jakes. And Jakes has got a heavy shot.
Yes, she does. And she takes a lot of it. Now, coaches know that. That's a scouting report on her, and she's got a good one.
Good stretch pass out at center now. O'Brien pulls up, waiting for help. She'll just cycle it back into the corner for Shirley. Shirley in behind the net to the far wing side for Britta Curl. Curl back for O'Brien. Penalty box is empty. 1-0 Wisconsin. Under 5.5 to go. Shayla Edwards tried to play it down for O'Brien. Was broken up momentarily. Now loose in behind the net. Here's O'Brien again. Off to the corner. They'll bring it back up high. Layla Edwards going around the horn. Threw it down in front. Nobody there for Wisconsin. Ohio State comes back the other way through neutral with Buglioni. Buglioni tried to get around the defenseman. That ramped up off the stick, high off the glass.
And that was a 2-on-2, but you had Layla Edwards, who was the high person in the zone, so she was able to be back on the forecheck and ended up being a 2-on-3 for the Buckeyes. That's what Wisconsin's done really well all game.
Ohio State went 3-1 against Wisconsin during the regular year. But the Badgers could pull the upset here in the national title game and get the program's 7th national championship. That would be a record. Loose here at neutral ice. Hartmutz back at the blue line, had it poked off her stick by Enright. The rookie has played so well for Wisconsin in this one. And now a race for the puck here. KK Harvey and Gardner, 2 heavyweights there. Gardner, a rookie and a veteran.
Yeah, and Gardner out skating. KK Harvey skates so well, and Gardner blowing by her.
Eden lost it off that rink-wide pass. Bizal for Malte, but then spun around and taken off the stick by LaMontia.
It's an unusual giveaway by Malte. That puck was right on her stick.
Under 4 minutes to play.
I think there's some urgency for Malte, too. Not a part of the team last year that won the title, and see what she can do in these last 4 minutes.
Long shot, knocked down. Scooped up by Wheeler. Maddie Wheeler through center with speed. Comes in over the line. Plays it back to the middle. O'Brien, a wrist shot. That was well wide, but great opportunity there for Wisconsin maybe
Still
to get that second goal.
Would have been goalie interference.
We step aside. 3:33 to go to a championship. There's Ohio State head coach Nadine Muzzerall. The defending national champs have not been shut out this year. There's 3:33 to go. They need to generate some offense. When will she think about pulling Amanda Thiele?
To me, it's going to depend on the game situation. She needs possession in the offensive zone. So sometime after 2 minutes is when she'll start looking at it, in my opinion. But if she really feels like she has pressure going on between now and then, I think she'll look to pull her, get the extra attacker, and look to press.
She's only pulled Thiele 5 times this year. No coincidence, they have 5 losses on the season. Big face-off here in the Ohio State zone. Emma Malte to take it against Jessie Comfer of Wisconsin. And draw control by the Badgers. And Curl will jam it in deep. Punching it in. Even deeper there, Chayla Edwards. And now Ohio State will try to break out. Rink-wide pass to the near side for Jakes. The defenseman will drive it in. 3:15 to go. Ohio State playing with a sense of urgency. Here's Bazal on the right point for Ohio State. Down for Buglioni. Now Gabby Rosenthal trying to fight off a check from Edwards. Jakes will send it to the middle. Bazal, wrist shot. And Kronish, I think, saw it. Now it's loose. Slides away from the blue paint, and Wisconsin dodges a bullet.
Great chance for Ohio.
There's a ton of bodies everywhere. I have the best seat in the house, and I could barely see where the puck was.
I don't know that Kronish saw it that well either. And it's going to be an icing call. Face-off coming back, and the Badgers in with 2:42 to go.
See Cami Kronish right on the top of the blue paint there. She tries to glove it, can't find it, and she's got Rosenthal right on top of her. Not able to corral it, but she gets a lot of help from the team in front of her.
Think about this, guys. Cami Kronish, she's been on campus in Madison since 2018. Only appeared in 11 games before this season, and she's 242 away from winning a national championship. Timeout, Ohio State. And a reminder, for the 3rd straight year, every NCAA Women's Championship game is on the networks of ESPN. For more information, go to ncaa.com, your home for all 90 NCAA championships.
So far, Cami Kronish, 30 saves and perfect on the day, and done an excellent job in the way she's moving. And again, I've said it over and over, good job making sure there's no second chance, or very few second chance opportunities. But I like the way she's moving. She's cutting down the rebounds. She's moving post to post. She's reading the play too. It's such a interesting skill when you think about these goaltenders that play goalie from such a young age, and to try to read the play that's going on in front of them. And she does a really good job of anticipating. Impressive run tonight. Using her full size. You mentioned she's 6 feet, and she does use that stretch very well.
The last time Ohio State was shut out, you got to go back to January 21st of 2022 when Minnesota Duluth happened to do it. It was a 1-0 win for the Bulldogs in Columbus. Not here in Duluth, in Columbus. But that's a stretch of 57 games since the last time Ohio State has been shut out.
And you look at the players on their team that can score big goals, and see if any of them right now can come up with something and anything. And you got to imagine a lot of bodies in front of the net, and they've got to find that grit. That's defined them through this, especially throughout Nadine Muzzerall's tenure. But the last couple of years of the success they've had is that grittiness, that willingness to fight in that tough area in front of the nets. And that's where Wisconsin they've won that game in front of both net fronts here today.
The number 2 offense in the country, running out of time. This game's getting long in the tooth. 1-0 Wisconsin. Big face-off in front of Kronish. Emma Malte poised to take it here for the Buckeyes. Between her and Rosenthal, I don't know, there are 2 better face-off players in the country, and it'll be Malte to take this key draw against Comfer.
Yeah, and they're both trying to go on their backhand, which is a little tough to where the linesman standing based on the location of the draw.
And now we're going to get a video review for something.
I believe we're checking for players right now. There seems to be some confusion here on the face-off and which personnel's on the ice. Interesting vibe between the 2 benches. Earlier on, Coach Muzzerall was sort of jumping up and down, emphatic about the tone, and now it's really calm and collected, drawing up different plays on the whiteboard there. Everyone's huddled around.
See some disbelief from Coach Mark Johnson talking to the linesman.
So who does this delay benefit? Provided that there's no violation.
No penalties or anything. You know, both teams get a rest. There's no question about it. Right now you can see Muzzerall taking advantage of it and talking to her team and using the time. You know, I think that this also lets in some ways, I think it puts the pressure on Ohio State, right? Because they got to sit there and think about it So, you know, they're both getting rests. It's just a matter of how, I guess it's a matter of how complicated this play that Muzzie's firing up. That's a mental game for these athletes, though, out there right now trying to. So she's giving the numbers of players that have to be on the ice.
Britta Curl mentioning, Shayla, you're good.
Yeah, because they did
back on the ice.
They sent Shayla off the ice. And again, Muzzerall gets the last change. She gets to put out who she wants. And now the ref is explaining to Muzzerall what happened. Right now, I can't imagine it's a matching for Muzzerall, though. She wants her best offensive players on the ice.
It'll be Malte's line for Ohio State. With Buglioni and Levis. There's a drive, knocked down in front by Shayla Edwards, and the Badger gets it to the point, not out. Finally, Wisconsin able to come free, and it's Layla Edwards now on the right wing side.
Based on the way this game has gone, it's going to be hard for Muzzerall to pull the goalie earlier than about a minute or so.
Comfer fencing there with Malte. Ohio State grabs it at center. Buglioni tried to advance it. She's turned back. Picked up here at the Wisconsin line. Pass ahead for Layla Edwards. She's got some room. Long shot. T. Lee makes the stop. And with 2:03 to go, we'll get another face-off here in the Ohio State end. 1-0 Wisconsin trying to hold on for a championship.
You mentioned it earlier in the game. The fatigue was going to be, we thought, might be a factor for Wisconsin. They had the later semifinal on Friday. They went to almost an entire extra period with the overtime, but they have not looked fatigued through this game here today.
Another big face-off. Rosenthal for Wisconsin, or for Ohio State. O'Brien for Wisconsin. Battle in the corner. Gardner trying to dig it free for the Buckeyes. Sophie Shirley mucking things up. It will be Rosenthal playing it on the right wing. She can't get it out. Badgers have done such a great job on the forecheck at times in this hockey game. Keeping it deep.
Good read there by O'Brien, sealing the wall. This is not how Muzzerall drew it up for them to have to fight so hard to get out of their own D zone.
Gardner tried to go rink wide. That was broken up at center. We're keeping an eye on Amanda Thiele.
Coming. She's on her. She's looking. Yep, there she goes.
Buglioni sweeps it in deep. Here comes the extra attacker. It's Malte. And now the play is going to be whistled down.
It's center ice face-off because the forward got on the ice too soon. That is an undisciplined call. It's not a penalty, but that is undisciplined and something that Muzzerall would usually never allow. She demands discipline.
Well, they've been in so few situations like this year. They don't have a lot of practice in these kind of situations.
Yeah, you know, it's just it's hard as a player. You're on the bench. You're chomping at the bit to go, and you're looking to get out there. You look at the goalie. She has to be a certain amount of I think it's 10 feet from the door before you jump.
1:14 to go. This one is played back into the Wisconsin end. Thiele poised to come toward the bench, and there she goes.
You better be sure that she's going to wait. There we go.
And now on is McKenna Webster, the former Badger, with a minute to go. Puck is locked up along the wall, and the Badgers are happy about that. Every second working against the Buckeyes. Webster gets to it. Turned it over for Comfer. Empty net on the other end. Comfer trying to fight around Jakes, and that's no easy task.
Good play by Jakes.
40 seconds to go. Extra skater out there for the Bucks. Malte. The Canadian Olympian going to the middle. Malte a shot. Cronish with the save. 30 seconds to go. Jakes will bring it back again. Jakes on her backhand. Pushed to the outside and knocked off the play by Harvey. 15 seconds in the hockey game. 10 seconds to a Wisconsin championship. Offside. 2 seconds to go, and we're going to have a face-off.
But a face-off outside the zone, so the celebration commences. There's Abby Rock, Wisconsin alum. Some frustration here. Look at this slash here. You see a little bit of Buglioni just coming right back at her.
Badger fans can feel it. Abby Rock clapping. Hillary Knight's getting giddy. By the way, Hillary, you've been very impartial. We appreciate that.
I love watching great hockey, and we've seen that tonight. So
it's all over but the shouting now. 2.3 to go. The faceoff coming back in the Ohio State end.
Wisconsin players half over the wall already. Cami Cronish has her hands on her head already.
It's over. A record 7th national championship for the Wisconsin Badgers. Mark Johnson has done it again, and improbably this year. They lost 5 games in a row in early January. They were scuffling. He got his team back on track, got him into the national tournament. They pulled 3 straight upsets against the 3, 2, and 1 seed to win a title.
The youth on this team too, and the impactful youth, the freshmen, the sophomores on this team that have been such an integral part of this national championship run. The future is so bright for this team moving forward.